What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kicking It with P and J. We're so happy to be here with you guys. I know we've been off the grid for like 2-3 weeks now. That's it. Want to talk to you guys about something special. What's your mental health looking like nowadays, Jazz? Okay. Yeah, same.
It's not as bad as it looks.
Shout out Porto Morgado, who's accompanying us tonight. It's a ruby red wine. What is this, 19% alcohol?
I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. That shit is nasty as fuck.
It's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. You're not a wine drinker.
I am
it's okay,
a wine
baby,
drinker.
You'll get there. Yes, okay, baby. Eventually, you will get there.
I'm not a big wine drinker. I wish I was, but I'm not.
Okay, talk about your mental health, bro. Where you at with it?
We're right here.
Huh?
Between the right here, and right here, we're right here.
Who is we? Speak for yourself.
Me and the 7 different personalities in my head. Okay. On a serious note, it's better. It's better right currently than it was like maybe 2 weeks ago.
Talk about why 2 weeks ago was bad. Cause I was trying to hang in there with you.
Bitch, I was hanging on by a very thin thread. Like, I feel like everybody is like working and going to school, but nobody prepared me for life at the Fashion Institute. Mm-hmm. If you go to FITM and you're full-time and working a full-time job, a lot of kids at my school, especially design majors, none of them have jobs because it's damn near impossible.
It's too much.
But like on top of that, and then being at work 40 hours out the week, and then being full-time at FITM, like, and these aren't just assignments.
Not
these are
even
projects.
That, but also like making sure you pay your fucking bills on time and
that
making sure that you got gas to go to work. And like, yeah, you making all this money, but we're, especially in LA, bro, right now, like that shit is gonna stretch you only so far.
It's unacceptable here.
It really is.
It's bad, though.
Like, I don't even know who to talk to about this, because I know like people do protest to a degree, but like,
what is that
LA don't
doing
give a
right
fuck
now?
about us. Like, they don't give a fuck about us. Like, it's crazy. Like, people really don't, like, the government, people who say they care, these elected officials and stuff. That's why it's so important for us, like our generation especially, and before and after, like, for us to vote, like, and really pay attention to the politicians and pay attention to who's running and what they're really gonna do, you know? And the people who say they gonna do something but never do shit.
There should be a fee. There should be some type of consequence for motherfuckers who are running in office and making all these promises.
You should get jail time. You should get jail time.
But the amount of young people who were involved in the 2019 election is wild. When I turned 18, I never thought I would ever participate in an election or whatever the fuck. I was never into politics, whatever. Biden was just making a lot of promises and stuff.
We were fucked either way. Like, we were either gonna have a racist ass fool up there, and it would have gone to shit regardless. But now the economy is just shit. But like, that does play a big part into mental health, which is why like I had asked you how it was and how you got to this point.
Financially, it's stressful.
Yeah.
Work wise, it's stressful. We definitely don't get paid enough. Like, it's just, we're living in one of the most expensive cities in the country during the worst time. Like, inflation is happening right now. We're about to go through a recession, bro. Like, prices are literally rising in front of us. Like, gas prices are going up, bro. I was complaining about $4.
Groceries are
going up. Fuck. In-N-Out is going up. Like, In-N-Out changed their prices.
Who thought In-N-Out, like,
is cheap.
In-N-Out has still, like, if you go in, they still got that old vibey feel, you know, because you want to go in there, you want to feel like you back there, you know what I mean? But, and now that the prices are going up, I'm like, oh, I'm not back there, I'm here, and it fucking sucks, you know what I mean? Like, this shit is crazy.
It's fucking sad, though. It's hard, though. So like, mentally, it's hard.
Do you have any tips or things that you do personally to soothe your mental health or to get it to a better space?
I feel like that's where I struggle with, is like trying to do things for myself. And I feel like that's a big problem or a big reason why like my mental has been struggling, is because it's hard for me to even find time. I have to be at work 10:30 to 7. That's my entire day. By the time I get home, I'm socially, mentally drained to the point where it's like, dude, I need coffee by the time I get home, because I need to be working on these projects that are due in 7 days type shit, you know, like, and and it's hard because I want to put my effort into these projects, but I don't have the fucking time.
Yeah,
Every day is a race against time.
So at this moment in this space in your life, you're not necessarily finding ways to cope with your mental. You just kind of go coast through
like
life.
every day is just like I wake up and it's the same routine, and it's hard because I feel like I've been struggling to find a balance. And I don't know, like stressing about finances, stressing literally to make ends meet, stressing to pay my bills, stressing to like budget myself.
I'm at the point where like mental health for me is like,
how is your mental health?
I'm gonna tell you right the fuck now.
Please tell me, inform us how you're going.
I'll tell you. No, I feel like I'm at the point where I'm like, miss me with the bullshit of like, go get your car washed, go get your nails done. That'll make you feel better. Do a face mask.
You can't pamper yourself.
Yeah. How I'm gonna pay my bills with that? How? In fact, I'm spending money on that, and then like, what is that? You know, yeah, it makes me happy to a degree. Like it's what is that called? Temporary happiness. Mm-hmm. But longevity wise, what does that really do for me? What does that nail set 3 weeks ago do for me? You know. So like, I'm just kind of at the point where I'm like, I want financial freedom, and I want to be able to do what I want when I want it. And I don't want to have to answer to anybody as far as like a set schedule, even with work or like projects or anything outside of work. And I think I'm on the right path so far, but it's still like a struggle to try to figure it out. You literally one day to the next just trying to figure it out.
That's really how it is out here in LA. It's like, and like you'll see it, like people hustle, like we said, like people are hustling every single day out here in LA, whether it be going to buy fucking tasers and knives at the corner shop and literally sitting on your bike with all those tasers and knives that you just bought and selling it on the street type
my
shit.
My biggest thing with mental health for real, and like I would generally be the person to be like, yo, maybe you should do things for yourself and take time for yourself and take long baths and, you know, decompress and get the fuck away from people. Maybe that's what you need, space, time alone and all that. But when you do those things, when you take that space and time alone, really sit down with yourself and ask yourself those tough questions like, where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 2 years? How am I going to make this money? How am I going to make it work for me?
I got a question. Do you meditate? Do you like write this stuff down? Do you journal this stuff? Do you use those as like journal entries? Because I heard that helps. I heard that really, really helps. And I feel like it really, really helps me. And I always thought that shit was like what the fuck is writing this shit gonna do for me?
No,
you know,
I'm gonna keep it G with you. I do think that really helps. As of like probably the last year and a half, I haven't, because I feel like I've been so in my head and on like go as far as like make the money I need to make right now, pay these bills, But
it's
like
just day by day.
I haven't had time to really sit down. Or I'm sorry, I haven't made time, which is like there's time in the day. You have to make it though for yourself, and you have to prioritize that. And it looks so little, it looks like it's not much, but I promise you, longevity wise, it can get you there, but you have to take the time to do it. So I will say that I used to be that person. I used to be able to do that and stuff, and I haven't. I like been slacking, and I have to hold myself accountable enough to be able to be like, okay, that's my bad. You know, I got to get back on track. So I do think that does help.
I feel like mentally I've been trying to note like, hey, you need to meditate. Like you need to write this shit down, write how you're feeling down. At one point in my life, I was doing that. It was very hard for me to like focus and just sit down and meditate and just literally quiet my mind. So like I started out with like 5 minutes. 5 minutes started turning into like 10 minutes of meditation. Then 10 minutes turned into 15 minutes. And then I would just like say a quick little prayer. I only started doing it because like I wanted to see if it really was going to help.
It was going to work.
With like my anxiety, with like my focus. And honestly, that was the best I'd ever felt. Mentally,
said I can't pay my bills, but mentally I'm okay.
Yeah, like no, but granted, I was also home.
Right,
I also had my own
That does make a big difference, though. So try doing it now. Try doing it now that you don't have all that. You don't have that crunch. Yeah. Because we, like I said, we too busy hustling and trying to make money and trying to pay these bills. We forget
the really important shit. And I feel like so much good things were happening for me at that time, and I really feel like it was because you
were attracting that good energy.
Yes, like I was spiritually, mentally, and emotionally like invested into really sitting down and like making time. If you have time to go and roll up a blunt, I would tell myself stuff like, bro, if you got time to do this and that, you got time to sit down for at least 5 minutes out of your day to literally sit down in a quiet space and just focus and sit down in silence. Like
if your house isn't clean or it's not, your fucking bed's not made and shit, but you out having dinner and drinks with your friends, like what are you doing with your life? bro. Like, get
That's
it
part
together.
of feng shui, though. I don't know. Like, I was reading a lot more. I feel like I just was at my best, and I feel like that's when the shit I was speaking became my reality, if that makes sense. And it was because I was so invested in myself spiritually, and I was really just I'm a very like curious person in a sense of like like people keep talking about meditating, like, you know, like I want to try this out, or like, you know, like the whole vegan thing. When I went vegan, I was like, I want to see if I can do this. Like, I'm very experimental in the sense of like, let me see if this is gonna work. Like, let me see if this is gonna make a difference. Like, obviously, doing that kind of stuff, you have to be very consistent in, and you don't really start believing in that stuff until you make it a habit, and until you make it a part of your actual morning routine.
And you see the results. You know, you're not gonna believe it until you see the results. It's the same thing with working out. You can work out for 2 months. I didn't
believe in that shit. I was like, bro, I cannot sit down and just sit there and do nothing. As ADHD as I am, like, it's just like, I didn't think it was like possible, but I just was like, well, let me just fucking try. It started with 2 minutes because I couldn't even just sit there for 2 minutes.
You ever leave the house and sometimes your bed's not made?
No, I can't. I don't know. But that for me is like, my parents always like, my dad was military. Like, we never left the house looking crazy. Yeah. Like, we never left they wouldn't, like, that was just part of our morning routine.
Why do you think it goes back to as far as military and they even do it then? Like, what?
It just makes sense, you know. Like, it makes sense to have like a clean space.
Yeah. For me, it's more like if I literally leave the house and my bed is not made, or I have shit on the floor or something, I literally like am a ticking time bomb. Like, that shit bothers.
Like, it bothers me.
It bothers me.
It's almost like when you leave the house and you're already down the street in your car and you're like, did I lock the door? Like, it's like one of those like anxious, like, bro, oh my god, did I fit, like
that anxious feeling, and then it's like I'm going out in public and my shirt has a fat ass stain on it and I'm wearing a white shirt. That's how I feel. Like, I'm like, bro, I have to itch. I got to itch to do this, get this right. Like,
I don't like leaving my room a mess, because you know how like when you're trying to find something to wear in the morning, and you just fucking pulling out shit and you're just like, I have to clean up my room before I leave, because I will get pissed off if I like come home in my fucking room. I want
to touch on something real quick before we let go. You were talking about the eating habits, going vegan and stuff. I also think that is very, very important to your mental health. It's very physical, but what you put in your body, bro, and I know that people have been saying it, you know, for like years now, because
pay attention to that shit. People don't say that shit for no reason,
right?
And that's why I tried it.
People don't pay attention because we're so used to like them trying to kill us with fucking fast food and shit. Like, I get it
because it's so accessible, it's so cheap, and it's accessible.
Yeah, exactly. But pay attention to what your body specifically needs, what your body does with certain things, and just like drink your fucking water, bro.
Try it as like an experiment, because that's how I look at things. It's like, well, people keep talking about this, let me see if it really works for myself. And that's kind of how it started. Like, I wanted to see if there was going to be a difference in the way I felt throughout the day and the way I performed throughout the day. So like, and I knew, because pretty much most of my life I've always been in the gym. So at that point I wasn't in the gym. I didn't have a gym membership and I had just moved type shit. So I was like, well, if I'm not in the gym, I better at least be eating right. So I kind of just tried it out. It's like, okay, let me see if I can go a week going vegan type shit.
But start small.
And then start small. That. And then when you accomplish it, be like, okay, let me see how long I could go with a month. And then literally it turned into like 5 months for me. And then it just kind of, I stopped